So, one of the things that is happening, that I believe is happening, well, it's not, I believe, that I have determined is happening. You can see that the Honoree image and the QR code, what it's doing is it's actually taking it off of the image. And that's what's filling, that is, I guess that's what's creating that extra space on the side. And it seems like ChatGPT doesn't even know about that, but Replit is not even addressing that. It's only looking at it as if, and this is what I've said before in the earlier videos, is that you can't just leave it in the hands of the no code and be hands off, and you still need to pay attention, be observant, and use critical thinking skills, because it's not even looking at it in this way. It's just saying that it specifically said that it's, well, I think I mentioned it, but it's, you know, it's said that it's cropping it. It's cropping the image. And it is cropping the image. But when you really look at it close, what it's doing is it's taking the honoree and the QR code, and that's really what's forcing it to go outside of the actual image. So it's not being placed over the image. It's being placed, it's forced to be inside of it's forced to go outside of the image and add extra space to accommodate it, if that makes sense to you. The reality is, let's see. Yeah, the reality is the way it looks is if those two pieces wasn't there, then it would probably place the end of the side of this image to the far right side of the container. And let's see. Let's see. Yeah, I think so. I think if it would place the right side of this original image to the right side of the container, and it would be in the proper ratio. Yep, I think so. Because this would be the full image. Maybe it is. Maybe it is scaling it, stretching it a little bit. But anyway, the first step we got to take is to. So what I'm gonna do is bring attention to this problem, because I don't think it's recognized this problem, and it's gonna say you're exactly right. That's what's happening. Watch. So I'm gonna paste this image in here. Wait, no, I don't know what I pasted in there. Let's get rid of all of that. I'm going to screenshot this image. But it is here. All right. So let me go ahead and highlight this. Well, in this one, it's not really doing that. At least it's not doing it with the hand. It's still pushing the barcode. Wait a minute. Maybe that is a barcode. I don't know. I can't see what's going on there. The other ones is pretty clear. This one, it almost looks like it have the arm on top of the QR code and the arm up here. Kind of what it looked like to me. But anyway, we just grab this, put it over here, and say, it seems like the QR code in Honoree image is causing there to be extra space added to the image, added, let's say, to the canvas, but outside of the image, added to the canvas outside of the image. Remember, we want to try to be as accurate as possible with what we're communicating with what we were describing. So it increases our chances of getting the results we want, or identifying the problem so that we can get the results that we want, so that we can get it solved. Add it to the canvas outside of the image, by the way, which also is how you want to gather information. And it, hey, everybody can't think in this way, so if it's possible, see if you can ask the questions that would get you the information that you need in order to provide solutions. Like say you was making apps for other people. They might not know all of what they need to describe or give you in order to make the app to do what they wanted or needed to do. So your it's a good practice. That's why I'm pointing all this stuff out. It's a good practice to train yourself to think in this way and to communicate in this way and understand that other people won't understand that. And you will have to make up for that lack of understanding, lack of mindfulness, lack of awareness, lack of ability to communicate. And you will have to draw that out of them, which is a useful tool. This is what I do when I do custom GPTs and even in designing some of these apps. Then I think about what is it like with boutique apps. That's exactly what I did. I said, if people are starting from zero, and these are the people that I'm most passionate about helping, then they don't know really how to approach or engage or get the actual information they need. They don't even know what, how to describe necessarily the app or the problem or none of that. That's why it's a series of different questions that's being asked through the process, if that makes sense. But anyway, let's move on, okay? Uh, Add it to the canvas outside of the image, period. And I know that's not proper. This is not English class, okay? So, yes, I'm starting my sentence with and. And because of that, possibly, possibly it is what is creating the problem that we are seeing, period. Which on the surface looks like cropping, but in fact is a little deeper than simply cropping the image, and possibly not even be the problem, because the image will need to be cropped, with exception of the Facebook post image. All right, I think that's thorough enough, right? So with that, now let's see what kind of results we get. And let's see what kind of results we get. Well, I'm just going to say, you're exactly right. That's what's happening. You're absolutely right. Looking at the image, I can see what's happening. The orange arrows point to the extra white space around the social media format images that isn't actually a cropping issue. It's the opposite. The QR code and Honoree image elements are extended beyond the original canvas boundaries, creating a larger overall image than gets letterboxed when scaled to fit the social media dimensions. You've identified the real issue. When we add overlays, QR code, honoree image, text. They might be positioned outside the original canvas bounds, which forces Cloudinary to expand the canvas to accommodate them. And that's what the generate is supposed to be. I thought was to, maybe I need to say that, was to, attach the superimposed image to the other image, which creates another image, and then use that. Let me just say that. Well, I'll see what happens. Let me see what it's doing. Full frame images. The root. Let me see why this works. Smarter approach to handle the social media formats based on your excellent insight. Eliminates white space. Yeah, I don't know, Phil. I don't know if this is going to work because it doesn't seem like it's actually something. It seems that something has to be in the code to make the superimposed stuff attached to the background image, and it doesn't really look like to me that is doing that. But hey, I don't know how to code, so so maybe it does. I'm just using what I I feel is common sense and logic and trying to apply that. But if you don't really know how to code, then you know there's a deficiency there where just having some common sense and logic may not always be sufficient in order to solve problems that's generated, you know, by something that's related to code, if that makes sense. Which is interesting. Again, that level of mindfulness and awareness is very useful in life because it's people who believe that their opinion about something is accurate because it's their opinion with limited insight and understanding, but because that's the way they look at it, they feel like that's the way it is. And it would behoove them to realize that just because they have an opinion and because that's the only way that they can process what is before them doesn't mean that that's the answer that is accurate, because a lot of times people have opinions with limited context, limited understanding of the situation in its entirety. So it would be smart to realize that your opinion may be inaccurate for many reasons. There's nuances to situations. Anyway, I know we're taking it a little beyond the project, but hey, all right, let's see. Let's see. Like I said, it didn't address the root of the problem, I don't think. So let's try this. Okay, that didn't work, but I have an idea. It seems to me that when oh, okay, so when we're generating the flyer, then it's a preview. But so it's a preview, and code is providing the preview like in a dynamic way. You know what I'm saying? It's not actually real. That's what I'm saying. But what needs to happen, well, I say what needs to happen, but when you say that, then here's the thing. Remember, we're making adjustments. So you don't want to create images for every single adjustment. You make the adjustment here, you generate the flyer, you get the preview to see what it would look like if you went along. But we are making an image because I've seen all of the images that are saved, and there isn't a save feature. So wherever we stop at, and maybe when we leave the screen, it's creating the image. But at some point, the image is getting created without clicking a button. But anyway, let me just put this in there and let Replit agent figure that out. Okay, that didn't work, but I have an idea. It seems to me that when we click generate flyer, or I should say after seeing the preview from generate flyer, an actual, just in case it's not doing that, image, an actual physical or digital, I mean, how do you say that? Uh, uh, Digital image file, that's the way to say it. A file is created. An actual digital image file should be created for the new image. That attaches, oh, so in Photoshop it's called flatten the image. I don't know if that's tech language or would be understood or applied here universally, but I'm just going to describe it instead of using the term. That that new image, that new image would have the Honoree and QR code embedded as part of the image and not simply superimposed in a superficial way. I just don't know another way to, or dynamically. In this way, it can't cause it can't cause a reaction that changes the canvas when picked up or processed for the social media images. I don't know if I explained this well enough. If it makes sense what I am saying, great. If it doesn't, ask me questions to get a better understanding of what I am proposing. I am saying that somehow, after the image, I should say, preview of the superimposed Honoree and QR code is shown and the user is happy with it, another image, a new image should be created. This new image won't cause, well, shouldn't cause any problems that affect the canvas, basically, is what I am thinking. How to logistically achieve this, I've gave thoughts about, but but not specific direction intentionally. Just ideas to work from. You are the coding expert. If my logic thoughts seem to be accurate, you determine the logic needed to make to fix the solution, to create the solution. You don't fix a solution, you fix a problem to create create the solution. Let's see what happens. Man, I didn't. Did I include the image? Oh, I already got the image anyway. Let's see what it says. I understand exactly what you're proposing, and it's brilliant. You're absolutely right. The issue is that we're currently using dynamic overlays that can extend beyond the canvas boundary, causing Cloudinary to auto-expand the canvas size. Your solution is to flatten or bake the final layer into a single fixed-size image file where everything, the background, the honoree, the QR code, text, becomes part of one cohesive image. This eliminates any canvas expansion issues because it's just one solid image. There you go. Here's how I understand your approach. Preview phase, show the dynamic overlay, what we have now. Generation phase, create a new flattened image where all elements are permanently embedded. Social media phase, use this flattened image which has fixed dimensions for all social formats. This would work by having Cloudinary generate and save flattened versions of the final image as a new image file, then use flattened image as the source for social media formats instead of the original with dynamic overlays. Yes, sir. And I think this is going to fix our problem. Does it make sense to you guys what we're doing? If you think that was a useful insight that you might need to apply in other areas, how about you show us a little love? But will it work? Well, let's see. Now, this is the genius of your solution is that if it separates the preview generation dynamic overlays from the final product, flattened image, which eliminates the canvas expansion issue completely. Let's go. We'll see. That was my theory. We'll see how it goes. Oh, I was getting ready to tell you something. Oh, this is what I was going to tell you. Now, this is something very important to take in as well. It's easier to reach that level of thinking within a parameter, like applied in a certain way, by doing that thing long enough where you can get to that place to think in that way, if that makes sense. What I'm saying is, if you give in too quickly or stop too early, like I did with Bolt, you never get to thinking that far ahead or outside of the box or that creatively or that expansively. So it's deciding, I mean, this is what the 100 days was about. It's like forcing myself, like, what am I going to do for 100 days? I can't keep just starting stuff and stopping it. So I'm going to have to figure out how to find solutions to different things. And so, because of that as being the foundation, then you're kind of forcing your mind to think a little bit more outside of the box. Think about this, think about that, look at it this way, look at it that way, look at it another way. And therefore, you get to the point where you can think about these things what Replit isn't even thinking about, if that makes sense. But my point was that this comes about really as a result of spending time working with it. It's still, it's probably not creating a physical file because it's still doing the same thing. It looks a little, actually, it's worse because now all of the dimensions are the same. Everything is a landscape image. So it didn't really apply the fix in the right way because now we don't even have the proper dimensions for the images. This is extra. This is extra and uncalled for. Okay. Well, that not only didn't work, we have, we now have the exact same dimensions for each image. Uh, and we both know that they should be different depending on social media platform. And we still have the extra canvas space accommodating the extra added images. Extra accommodating the other images. You're absolutely right. Looking at the image, I can see two issues. All images are the same size. The flattening didn't work as expected, and we're not getting the proper social media dimensions. It's not being flattened. It's, we don't know if a real flattened image would fix it or not because the image is just not even being flattened. I don't see the created flattened flyer log message, which means the flattening is failing. And falling back to the URL method. This explains why we're still getting the same dimensions in whitespace. That's what I said. All right. Says it's fixed it. Let's see. Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. Still not being flattened. Now, for all images, both superimposed images are over overlapping each other, and it's the same size canvas. So we're kind of going backwards here. So what do we try from ChatGPT? Oh, I never did tell it. All right. I'm going to find what I originally proposed while I run this, and I'm going to take that to ChatGPT. Now I've already sent this off. That didn't work, so it shucks. So it can try something else. And then I'm coming back over here, ChatGPT, and I'm gonna say, oh, did it? Please unify anchor usage. Oh no, this is the other problem. Oh, I never did tell it about that other issue, huh? Nah, doesn't know about this other issue. So I'm gonna say, got that fixed. Thanks. One more issue. These images for social media are not are generated with extra canvas space added. Here's what I propose to Replit to help fix it, but so far it is not fixed. Um, Look at my suggestions and the images and my possible my perspective and possible solution. Help me tell Replit agent how to fix the problem. So now I just paste in what I told Replit. Now I'm going to go get an image of the issue. Where is it? Guess I gotta do it again. $11:31. People are waking up. Let's get that hand. Let's remove the background. And let's put it over here. Let's generate the flyer. I think it's just skipping a spot. I mean, skipping a part. Because, I mean, really, we had to generate another image in order to achieve it. I don't know what it's trying to do, but I think, okay, I have an idea. So when this switches over to social media, what should happen is switching this over should generate generate another flyer. I mean, not a flyer, generate another image. Switching this over should generate a physical image that would then be used to actually create these. Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. Did I refresh last time? Cause, cause we got it. This is it. We got it already. What am I doing over here? Oh, that's right. I already had gave it. Okay, that's right. We didn't check it after I put in this last thing. It says I see the multiple issues here. Flattening didn't work. Okay, so my flattening did fix the problem. That's what happened. It fixed it so that the actual flattening was done, and now that it has solved the problem. Now I need to be able to click on these and see it better. That would be useful. But most importantly, and on this particular image, it doesn't matter. It wouldn't help at all. But most importantly, be able to slide the image over. What do you call that? I don't know what the name for that is. All right, so this worked though. So now, anyway, on to the next step. That worked. Thanks. Now, is it possible, and I know it's possible, to be able to click on the image, social media image, then drag that around on the screen, preview, view, view, so the exact part of the image is captured. And the easiest thing is just to eliminate this whole aspect of it, because it's never going to be, it's not designed, it's not for this purpose. This is just a feature that is useful. Like if you created something nice up here, wouldn't it be nice if you can download it and put it in other social media posts or something like that? But it's not supposed to be here in order to actually help you create social media images, if that makes sense. So That's the thing. So this part should never be marketed or highlighted or advertised, and it should be explained that this is just a possible benefit, a feature. What do you call it? You get the idea. Preview. So the exact part of the image is captured that is desired. Then click save and save, and the preview goes away. The new image is showing, and you can download. Can we create this workflow? Excellent. The flattening is now working perfectly. I can see the logs. Flattening succeeded. Created flatten flies successfully. Proper dimensions 1920 by 1080. Flattened image. Really? What happened to what is it? The other ones. Clean URLs using the flattened image instead of dynamic overlays. Your solution worked brilliantly. We now have solid image file that can be cropped properly for each platform without canvas expansion issues. Now for your raw request, your new request, an interactive crop tool for social media formats. This is a great idea. You want users to be able to click on the social media format image, see a preview overlay where they can drag to resize the crop area, save the custom crop, download the newly cropped version. Let me implement this step by step. Perfect. Now let me implement the interactive crop tool. And basic interactive crop tool. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Oh. Uh-oh. Just added it back again. So I might have to restore it back to this point. But it's not finished, so we'll see. Are you going out tonight? Edit the client source components. Remember, that's what we were at before in the flyer generator file. If somebody knows what LSP is, let me know. I keep seeing the LSP errors. I don't really know what LSP is. Let me check the LSP errors. LSP errors. There's no need. There's no need of doing all of that, really. Perfect. Now I'll add the crop endpoint right after the generate fly endpoint. I was I was getting ready to say seems more intense than I had thought, but no, as I think about it, I mean that's not light work. Click on the image, create a preview. In that preview, you can slide the image around to somebody's burning something. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Let me pause you real quick. All right, let's test this out. Let's test this out. Generate the flyer. Image. Let's do the honoree hand. Open. Background removed. All right, y'all. Hopefully this is it. Let's put this right here. Oh. Let's generate the flyer. Now I want to see, can I get this even better Oh, no, it ain't fixed. Calibrate it, but we're not going to mess with that yet. Okay, I'm supposed to be able to click on it. Not quite. Not working. That's all I'm going to put. That's all I need to put. It knows what I'm talking about. Oh, maybe? Okay, yeah, it's not working. Look like it's close though. You do see an edit overlay. Would probably be step one. Be able to click the image to activate another component, which gives you the ability to, well, which should expand it and give you the ability to edit it. So it look like it's just an incomplete process. Landscape, background. Oh, this is not the background. That's the background. Honoree. Actually, if this is not birthday, the term honoree would not necessarily be the best term. Remove the background. Generate flyer, which I don't know what it's using, but generate flyer should be what's physically making the image. Oh. Still no preview or image dragging for social media image. I don't want to get it confused and mess with anything else. I'm saying that I am specifically talking about the social media images. I see the issue. The crop buttons in modal are there, but they are not visible or functioning. Let me check what's happening. The problem might be that the crop buttons aren't showing up properly, or the modal isn't opening when clicked. Let me check the current state of social media formats section and fix the issues. Oh, you see how it's going back while it's working on it? That's interesting. So I want to try one more attempt. And then actually, I'll just leave it as it is. Oh, for now anyway. Because I smell food. Mm, 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 mm. Drum roll. Still not working. Now I'm gonna ask ChatGPT, how do you create something like this? Let's see, do I need to leave this so it'll have a context for the next thing? I think I am gonna leave this because all of this is going to give it context for me to ask the next question. Meanwhile, let's see that it fixed the problem itself. And I'm just going to say Replit agent fixed that problem before I gave them your solution. But now there is another issue. Go back over here, remove the background, generate flyer, see what happens. Oh, well. Here we go. Nope, doesn't work. So let's see if absolutely great idea. You're asking for an interactive crop workflow. I'm gonna start from step number 2. We already, that's where we at. Clicking the image, Show the master image in fixed aspect crop frame matching chosen size. Drag to pan master image behind the fixed crop frame. Zoom controls. Reset button to default. I don't know. I don't know about that. Get ready. Reset. Yeah, I'm not so sure whether or not this works against stuff that Replit has already done. So I don't want to cause a conflict. So I'm not going to paste that one. At least not yet. Maybe if it's not fixed and I deploy it again, then I'll try it. Yo. Nope, does not work. Let's do a F12 and clear this up and click on the images. Oh, nothing happens. So that might give it some insight, because what's happening is if there's no, it's not like it's coded wrong or it's doing the wrong thing when you click on it. It's just not even recognizing the click on it. See what I'm saying? So that might give it some insight on, okay, maybe that part of the code actually works, but right now the problem is clicking on it doesn't even do anything. You're not really, it doesn't do it. It's not reaching that part of the code to see if it works, if that makes sense. Scenes, clicking, on, it does nothing. Okay. Looking at your screenshot, I can see the crop buttons are visible, but the clicks aren't being detected. I notice we haven't seen any of the console logs I added, like Instagram, crop button, blah, blah, blah. All right, so we continue.